A big g'day and welcome to a cracking edition of the MCDFNL Netball Show. My name's Yeendy, stepping into the hot seat for this week. I'm joined by Kim Bailey, who is pumped up. You've had a big weekend and it looks like it's all full steam clear for the MCDFNL Netball.
Yeah, it's looking really good. Some surprises over the last few weeks, and welcome to your first netball show from Maryborough. Gracie will be back in a couple of weeks. We've just had to do a couple of bits of shoveling around at the minute, but yeah, it's really exciting. Some big movements. We've seen some of the top teams change their positions. Navarre has been that powerhouse team for the last few years, and we've seen them slip a little bit, but I'm sure they'll be back.
It's a good change of pace, though, because in the past we've seen the same teams up the top of the ladder. Now we're starting to see a bit of the changing of the guard, and you look what happened last year. Trentham, they started to make inroads, and now they're one of the powerhouse teams in the competition. So it's good to see we're starting to see some of that transition happening.
Yeah, and that's what happens in leagues. You see that roller coaster up and down of different teams. Navarre, obviously said they've been a powerhouse. They've had their turn, but I'm sure they'd want to keep going, as every team does. But look, Natty have got another really strong team in this year. Carisbrook, Harcourt, it's very, very wide open, and yeah, really exciting to see where we go at the end of the year too.
Well, a question for you, with some of the transition and some of the better teams now improving, is it because the standard of the competition's lifting and now teams like Navarre are having to reassess and go, okay, well, we need to look at avenues to try and become a bit more successful? The other teams are trying to chase them up?
Yeah, look, they are bringing in some new players, but not a lot. The beauty with the Maryborough League is that they nurture their young kids through as well, and we've got some really, really good young kids out there, which you can see through our interleague teams, and now they're transitioning through to A grade, which is fantastic. So I think that's the beauty of the MCDFNL, that we have so many young, good players. The likes of Navarre, they still have them, but they've lost some superstars. If you think they've lost Ree Davis and Jess Parry, of course, and Taylor Mason was out this week as well. So they're three significant players from the last few years with them. Yeah, but it's really good to see these young kids coming through. Speaking of young kids,
we did see them on display over the past weekend as part of the BNA weekend. Talk us through some of the results.
Yeah, the kids headed off to the BNA tournament. Our 17s didn't go because we had a game on Sunday and a lot of those girls were playing out there, so we didn't take the 17s, but we had some fantastic results. Vanessa Saunders, who's the under-13s coach, is a fantastic under-13 coach, and she's very, very nurturing, and they got through the 13s to the grand final, which is unbelievable. It's a really good performance. Unfortunately, they come up with one of the powerhouse clubs of our region in the Ballarat Football Netball League under-13 team, who actually were runners-up in the association champs and did very, very well. I think they were ranked number 7 in the state. So they come up against them, but it just shows the improvement that these girls have come from last year. So to get a runners-up medal for them is a fantastic effort. We now look forward for them to go down to the association champs in Warrnambool on the 4th or 5th, I think, of could even be the 6th. I've got my dates wrong. Yep. In June this year, down to Warrnambool. So we're really expecting some big things from them. And also, Kylie Mortlight is back with her under-15s team. They had a good tournament. They made the semi-finals. Again, they'll head down to Warrnambool as well, and they'll also head twice to Warrnambool, because they're the under-15 teams going down for this Community Cup as well. So they'll head down on the 13th. And Kylie also entered another team in the association champs, our development team, under-15s, and they went last year. Our development team had about 4 or 5 girls selected for to TID, and they got through to Zone Academy. But they had a bit of a harder time this development team, but they've just been thrown together really, so they'll be better and they'll go to association champs as well. So congratulations to Kylie and Vanessa and all the girls. Fantastic effort, and thanks to Ali Ellis for organising all the umpires who went along and helped us out on the day as well. Thank you.
Fantastic opportunity to see these young girls go out and really make the most of the opportunities in front of them to play more netball, and obviously you really can't play enough of it really, because it's just there's so many opportunities for them to develop and become better athletes.
Yeah, and I think going down to the association champs at Warrnambool also gives them that opportunity to see the best netballers in our region and play against them and improve. So they'll go down there. They'll also play against the Central Highlands as well in July, and they'll also play the Maryborough tournament. So there's lots of stuff out there for these girls to do, and it's a really great opportunity for kids to grow, and maybe I'll TID them. Who knows?
Bring it on. Now, you touched on it before, but looking at Navarre, they're sitting 0-2 and had a big game against Harcourt this past weekend, which didn't go their way, but hats off to the Lions winning on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Harcourt are one of the up-and-coming teams, I think, that we've got in our league, and I liked how they looked last year as well, as we've talked about Navarre briefly, and they have had a few girls out. Caitlin Murphy always plays well in defence, and she was swung into goals. I think she shot 7 for 11 as well, but she had a good game, but they're just a really good, solid team, Harcourt, and I just like the way, I haven't seen them a hell of a lot, but when I have, I've sort of liked the way they play. Kiralee McKay is a great player as well, and she had a really good game on the weekend in defence. She's a real dogged defender, great leap. So, yeah, Jess Lord as well had another good game. So they're one of the teams I think we need to keep our eye on this year. Excellent.
Well, it's nice to, again, as we've mentioned before, some of the upcoming teams, we're really starting to see a changing of the guard. But, you know, we had another big game over on Saturday, and Carisbrook and Maryborough Rovers were involved in the draw.
I know, our first draw for the year. That's great. Had a couple of close games, but this is the closest one so far. And Maryborough Rovers have pulled in a big recruit. They've got Jane Costello playing for them. Now, Jane has been playing in the Central Highlands League, and she's actually, I think she might have represented Samoa or something like that, I think, in the last World Champs. And she's also been the Sovereigns Championship player. So getting Jane in there in the wing D position is awesome, and she's got such good drive down the court. She's a little bit unorthodox, but she's one of these players that can take the unbelievable intercept that you don't think anyone can take. So, you know, that's a real plus to get her in there, and in combination with Maddie Davis, who I just think Maddie is a beautiful netballer, is a real strength for them. And they come up against Carisbrook, and Carisbrook is, again, one of these teams that I think have a lot of potential, and we'll see how they go. Emma Rumphy has been having a great season already. I know we're only 2, but she had a good season last year. Percentages were all right with the goalers, 74 and 72 for Emily Coots and Paige McLean. But, it was really interesting to see Maryborough, and I think that the addition of Jane, if she plays every week, will be exceptional for them. It was a Sunday game. Not quite sure she's still playing in Central Highlands, so we'll have a look. If she's there, it's going to be a real bonus. So
I like the fact this game was a real arm wrestle. There was only 2 goals separating the sides at quarter and half time, and then the Rovers, they managed to level things up at 27 apiece in the third term, yes. and then it was just goal for goal in the last quarter. Yeah, goal for goal didn't change it. You know, after that third quarter, it was all up 27 goals apiece. Quite low scoring, which is a surprise for an hour game in netball. You normally try and average, you know, between 10 to 15 goals a quarter. So it just sort of shows what a defensive game that was. And if you look at their lineups, Sharon Byrne is a cracker as well for Carisbrook in defence. Very, very strong defensively, so it didn't surprise me that these scores were quite low. Now, that's what we want to see in terms of if it means we get a nice close game of netball. Then we like lots of goals, though. Yeah, we like a bit of a shootout. We like to see the little goaler prima donnas down there shooting the goals. They're princesses, these goalers, but they don't like to get a bit restricted like that. But no, that would have been a good game. They would be touched up by the strong defence over the weekend. Yeah, and that's great. You know, that's just shows that the coaches have done some hard work there. Now, we've got 1 week to go before we do hit into league. We've got some cracking games right across the weekend. I believe they're all on Saturday as well, which is great. Oh, thank God. It's pretty hard to keep track at the moment, isn't it, Chris? Absolutely. Although you get an opportunity to go from a Saturday game to a Sunday game if you're that way inclined. Yeah, just trying to keep track of all our leagues. We've got juniors everywhere and seniors everywhere, but we're finally starting to settle back into a proper season. And, we've got some really good games coming up this weekend. We'll kick off with Avoca and Harcourt. How do you think this one will go? I think this will be a really good game. Both of these teams are undefeated. It's interesting if you have a look at their shooting stats. They've both shot 93 goals for the year, and but Harcourt, and we've spoke about their defensive lineup, has had the better defence by about 20 goals.
I just like the look of Harcourt. I'm going to go for Harcourt. Are you going to make a choice?
I'm going to have a crack at Avoca here. I think there's a bit of potential there coming. They're sitting in 4th position on the ladder, and I like the way they're sort of heading. And as a club as well, particularly through their football, there's some positive signs just happening around the Bulldogs, the mighty kennel in 2017.
Just have Chris picks from his football knowledge. So this is good.
Interesting one here. We got Maldon versus Carisbrook, the battle of the 2 red and black outfits.
Yeah, Carisbrook for me. I just think they're the real deal this year. And look, Maldon have had a pretty good start to the season as well, though. But I just think that the lineup for Carisbrook, and we have touched on them a little bit as well, I just think they'll be far too strong.
Yeah, no, I can't argue with you on that one there. They are cruising at the moment and liking the way they're going about their business. Campbell's Creek versus Trentham.
Yeah, Campbell's Creek will struggle, unfortunately. Trentham had... they're the real deal. I think they're most probably nearly the favourites. Them and Natty, that's who I'm most probably going to make the statement right now. That's who I think the grand final will be. So all the other teams out there go and prove me wrong. But, they're very strong all over the court, Trentham, with that mix of defence and youth and experience right down the court. Jane O'Donoghue was back this week and last week and just had an absolute cracker as well, and played with Shana Ford in attack, and they worked really well, and that freed up their attack line to move further back. So I think Trentham will win.
I think the Saints have really started their build back at the end of 2015 when they realised that they needed to fill some holes and really start to grow, and they showed that last year by going down in the grand final. Yeah,
and look, I actually tipped them that I think they've most probably a season too quick. I think some of their young kids might have got a little bit overwhelmed with the experience of that awesome Navarre outfit that was there last year. But I think they'll be better to have a season on their belt now and know what finals netball is really like at senior level.
It's all about getting that experience. As we look at Denali and Lexton.
I think Lexton, Rachel's got them looking pretty good. So I think, they've proven me wrong already, so I'm not going to tip against them this week. I'm going to go Lexton.
I did have a watch of Lexton back in the season opener, and they played some pretty good netball there as well, so I like how they're going about things.
Rach does a really good job with them.
Royal Park and Natty Bielba.
Yeah, Natty's one of my favourites. Again, I just spoke about them. They've just really recruited well. They look really strong all over the court. Nice balance, and nice looking netball team. I think I'm going to go for them. Yeah,
I'll go for you on that one as well. I think Royal Park, if you have to open their account the season 2017, might be a little bit hard for them in this one. Newstead versus Navarre. I mean, we talk about teams needing to open their account for season 2017. Navarre in unfamiliar territory, and up against Newstead have already got a W on the board.
Very, very unfamiliar territory for them, and they won't like being there. No one does. And I think, I'm not quite sure where Taylor Mason was last week. I hope she's okay. I hope she's not injured, because she's a fantastic player. There's no way I think they will drop on 3rd in a row. But I didn't think Hawthorn or the Swans would either, Chris. So
there's something in the air.
Let's hope not for their sake. But look, Newstead have done okay as well, though, so we'll see how we go. But I just can't see Navarre's pride getting in the way and letting another game drop.
I think you put a key footy thing in there, Kim. Sydney Hawthorn, we didn't expect it, so I'm going to go. No. I'm going to jump on the Kangaroos bandwagon. Right on them.
Good luck with that.
As we, none of them know where I live, fortunately, so that's all right. I'll happily live with that. As we look to our last game, Talbot versus Maryborough Rovers. Love the way Maryborough Rovers have got about things already.
Yeah, and they've got a nice young team as well. Look, as I said, Maddie Davis is a superstar. She's just such a beautiful netballer to watch. And whether Jane plays or not, I think that's here and there. They've got the strength either way. And poor Talbot, they're having a bit of a struggle at the moment, but they'll get a game. But I don't think this will be the one.
And maybe a good experience for them to sort of learn a few things and maybe assess over the Interleague weekend and bounce back the following week. Yeah,
and hopefully we'll have a great Interleague team. It's not finalised yet, but we're pretty close to it. Rach Phelan's in charge of that this year, so really looking forward to a big weekend down at Warrnambool in a couple of weeks.
Should be sensational, no doubt. You'll be checking all our the emails and all our websites for all the details on what will be unfolding there. Kim, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much for letting me have the honour of being on board this week.
It's a pleasure.
We look forward to seeing you next time on the MC Netball Show.